Okay, guys, welcome back. Loki is chilling right now. I kind of wanted to bring up a topic of Loki and all gods. I don't care who you serve. Sometimes your gods need some TLC, and the only people I've ever seen talk about this is in Voodoo, where after they have worked very hard for you, they're not your servant, but they have gone out and they've worked very hard. They've got you a job. They've got you, someone you're in love with or something else. And I'm not going to talk about ethics, but they've worked very, very hard for you and they're tired. They're so tired. Um, you give them like a cool down. You give them, there are steps you can go through to cool them down and to thank them and say, I am grateful. And you usually worked out a payment ahead of time. It's very businesslike. And you say, here's your payment. And if you really love and care about them, you can be like, well, here's maybe a tiny, tiny bit extra. It can just be like the tiniest thing extra. Or, you give them extra cool down, maybe extra water or whatever they like when they cool down. And our gods need it too. Our gods can work overtime and work overtime and work overtime and never stop. And Loki is just as bad as any of the Ogos. He never stops. He never rests. He's internally going because he's that fire. He's that push. People that dislike him will say that he's the one that put all the wicked thoughts in us. And these are pagans saying this. Our drive to procreate, our drive to get things, our drive to eat, any kind of drive they disapprove of. Loki is the one that put that drive and that competitiveness in us. So, all of our passions. Let's put it that way. Loki gave us all of our passions. He breathed the fire into us and into our blood. So, he is going 24/7. He never stops. And sometimes he can just get really ragged and really run down. I noticed, for the last, since fall started, he was kind of starting to look a little older, and I would mention it and I would say, Loki, are you okay? Do you need a break? Do you need a cool down? He'd be like, no. But he'd look kind of sad and older and older and older till recently he's been looking like he's gonna match Odin, match the Allfather for age. And when you're starting to look like the old man's twin, you need to take a break. Because I'm like, there is nothing in our stories, there is nothing that I've read about people saying, Loki suddenly and rapidly aging. And I said, you need to take a break. It does not feel like elder energy. It does not feel like, we don't have exactly a crone, maybe a mage's aspect. It doesn't feel like that. It just feels like old and worn out and tired, and I need a rest. And I don't know how else to ask you except for by visual. So today we are doing resting. I did get him some DQ. We got some Kinder Eggs because he still has that play drive. And this is all for him, just for him. And you have to kind of make it clear, say, this is not so you get me something. This is not to get something I really want, because we always want something, let's admit it. But it's to get him to rest and get him to relax. What I did, and you can feel free to borrow this or alter this, I used a tea light because I used to always fight them. I used to always be like, I have to have an 8-hour light or nothing. And they talked me down to tea lights, and I'm so happy they did, because it's much more easy to customize a tea light and have it for the length you need it to burn than to customize an 8-hour light, and then the next day you need something else entirely in your working. So we did a blend of jasmine and orange oil. It smells very pleasant, and it's very clean, and it's very about relax, wind down, stop working. And I have most of the lights off, and I have the pretty fairy lights he likes. Because we lost a strand going up the stairs, and I'm old school. Once lights keep going out repeatedly, I throw them out. I'm not going to sit there and fiddle with the wires. And I said, I wish I did have lights to put up there, but right now it's not a big deal. And so we have the lights on and we have the candle on. I gave him cold coffee, and we're both having black cold coffee. And we're just gonna chill. We're just gonna watch some entertaining doll videos. Like, I love to watch doll collectors. It like really relaxes me. Because I really do think dolls are beautiful, but I simply don't have the room. Like, you see behind me, like, every available surface almost in this house is covered. So I do a thing that, like, if I get a doll, two other things have to go out. I used to do 4, and now I'm, like, more moderate. I do 2, because at least it's, within time, it gets rid of stuff. So, that happened. And I couldn't figure out when I was working on the skull that I was working on, I couldn't figure out why it kept going wrong. It kept going wrong. The original paint had never dried in over a year or half year, however long it was. It never dried. Every time you moved that skull, you got silver paint on your hands. And so I tried putting glitter on it. I thought, well, this will maybe bond with this and like activate it to dry. I put top coat on it. It didn't help. I put red paint on top of all this, thinking, it's going to magically dry and like make a shell around it. The skull kept falling over and it kept breaking off all the layers of red paint and glitter and everything else. And I was like, we're done. We're done. So the skull went in the garbage because there was no way to save it. It was, just like a molded Halloween skull. It used to originally be the Baron's. And I was like, really, when I get a creative fix, I go crazy. And he was like, go ahead, paint it and like give it to, Loki. I'm like done with it at this point. I'm like, you sure? Because this has been on his altar 7 or 8 years. He's like, yeah, I don't care. It's just a skull. So we had done that, and it never worked out. It never worked out. Eventually at some point, maybe buy another one, start over, but it never worked out. It did not look good. The more I worked on it, the worse it looked. So we worked on another pumpkin. We worked on Shadow Freddy, and that came out. It took like 12 different kinds of paint, but it came out. And today is just relaxation day. It's, take the day off day for him. I'm still working, but for him. And it's important to do that with your gods because, Loki will work himself right into the ground. And there goes a stupid phone. It's been ringing all day, telemarketers. But it's important to, other than killing distractions, it's important to give Loki time off. It's important to remember that, they are just like us. They need downtime. They can't be constantly working. If you work like I do, like I end up working 7 days a week, even though I used to try to take weekends off. You start to get really stressed out. And you start to get really crazy because it's like you're working 7 days a week. You do not have a day off. I will take like half days off. And what that means is I just worked super early that morning. And then I take the rest of the day off. And by rest of the day, I mean until evening when I think, well, time to get back to work. So, if you're doing something you're passionate about, it's not too bad. But sometimes you can get like really ground down into the ground. And it's like, So he needs time off too. And we need time off to, remember like if you are just having like too much Loki or you're having too much of any other god, you can always close their altar down. Explain things first. Take some time off from each other and then, get a restart because it's healthy. Sometimes you can get too wrapped up in a god's energy and you can get out of balance. And again, that's something I brought over from Voodoo that's very useful. You can start finding yourself being too Lokean, too much like Loki, and that's not very useful or charming in humans. It's not. So if you find yourself being like you're total chaos and you're totally angry and you're picking a fight with the world and you hate everyone and everyone else is a problem, it might be time to like shut the altar down to just let you both rest for the day, rest for a couple of days. It's not like you're punishing Loki. You're not punishing yourself. You're just saying, we need a break. We need a break. We need to take this break and we need to both just have alone time and time to heal. And he feels very, very placid right now. And I feel very placid because we took the downtime. We're like, we'll be in the same room, but you are relaxing and I am relaxing and we can spend the time watching videos together, but it's not going to be working on anything is going to be wonderful. It's going to be vacation day. Think of it like a spa day if you want to. But, you know, just take the time off when you need it. It's okay. It's done. It should be done more often, I think, in some religions because, you know, you kind of need a break, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're weak and judgmental people telling you you're wrong for taking a break and, you know, shove it. But, you know, it's natural. It's natural. The song lyrics say even lovers need a holiday. And it's true. Sometimes you kind of need that alone time. People will use the example of, you know, among the Inuit people, they have a thing where even if they're like all in one area, everybody in the family has one little tiny space, and that is their space. You have to be invited in. It gives them alone time. Humans do need alone time. We do need downtime. We need our sacred space that no one else can get into and that, you know, is respected. And then we can recharge and we can rejoin society, or we can rejoin our gods. So I figured I would make that for you because it just seems like, I think one of the problems on YouTube now is everybody's on YouTube 24/7 and everybody's wondering why they're going crazy and stressing out. That's why. You have to know when to take a break. You have to know when to just let go of stuff. So yeah. And, you know, feel free to do meditation with Loki. We talked about like the rose garden meditation. We just did like a simple breathing meditation this time. Feel free to do your meditation. Feel free to do whatever you have to do to take a break, to take a walk, listen to music, whatever. And then you can recharge and rebalance, because that is important. When you find yourself like going on too much and really agitated, that's the time to stop, to center, and to do whatever else you need to do. Okay, guys, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.